Good morning and welcome to Friday. We've made it this far this week. It's January the 30th today, and our devotion is entitled Justice Reflects the Character of God. The passage that's noted here is Deuteronomy chapter 10, verses 17 and 18. The Lord your God defends the cause, and he's used this word yesterday and explained it to us. The word mishpat occurs some 200 times in the Hebrew Old Testament. Basic meaning is to treat people equitably. So the Lord your God defends the cause, mishpat, of the fatherless and the widow, and loves the foreigner, alias the immigrant, giving them food and clothing. That's what God is like. He defends the cause of the fatherless, the needy, the ones who don't have any power, have any say so in what's going on in their lives. So here's the thoughts that come from Tim Keller here. It is striking to see how often God is introduced as a defender of these vulnerable groups. Don't miss the significance of this. When people ask me, how do you want to be introduced? I usually propose, they say, this is Tim Keller, minister at Redeemer Presbyterian Church in New York City. Of course, I'm many other things, but that is the main thing I spend my time doing in public life. Realize then how significant it is that the biblical writers introduce God as, quote, a father to the fatherless, a defender of widows. Psalm 68, verses 4 and 5. This is one of the main things he does in the world. He identifies with the powerless and he takes up their cause. It is hard for us to understand how revolutionary this was in the ancient world. Sri Lankan scholar Vinoth Ramachandra calls this, quote, scandalous justice, unquote. He writes that in virtually all the ancient cultures of the world, the power of the gods was channeled through and identified with the elites of society, the kings, priests, and military captains, not the outcasts. To oppose the leaders of society then was to oppose the gods. But here in Israel's rival vision, it is not high ranking males, but the orphan, the widow, and the stranger with whom Yahweh takes his stand. His power is exercised in history for their empowerment. So, from ancient times, the God of the Bible stood out from the gods of all other religions as a God on the side of the powerless and of justice for the poor. I don't know about you, but I'm finding it very interesting. As I shared when I first started this back up this year, that God was leading me to this book, and to use it now to be reading daily devos based on how we treat the poor, how we treat those who don't have any power themselves, don't have any influence themselves. And really great is the fact that Tim Keller points out that that's who God is. He's for the powerless, he's for the needy. When Jesus stands up in his hometown synagogue and reads from that Isaiah scroll and what he's here for, it's especially for those who really can't do for themselves. It's for the needy, it's for the powerless. And that's what he came for. And he came as one of them, right? He was God, but he gave up his equality with God, took on a human form, which is a big step down from equality with God, became human, not just became a human, but became a servant, which surprised his disciples very much. And then he also went to the cross, gave himself up for us who, when we're thinking of what we can't do, we can't save ourselves. And so Jesus stepped in to provide the way for us to do that. And that kind of justice, as the title says, reflects the character of God, because that's who he is. He's for he's for the powerless. He's for the weak. He wants to take their side. I don't know if you've ever experienced this. We probably all have experienced this, but somewhere in our growing up years, whether at school or at camp or wherever we might have been, we saw somebody being picked on who couldn't defend themselves. And we could tell in their faces how they were feeling about it. And I hope along those lines, because I remember some of those, kids that were picked on because they were not cool, kind of thing, to step in and defend them. That's what we're supposed to do because that's what God our Father does. And hopefully we grow up to be just like Him and reflect this justice, which reflects Him, His character, and what He's all about. I'm glad He's done it for me in my life. I'm glad He's rescued me from those who would have made my life go in a different direction. And I'm thankful that I get to preach that and share that with you and share that with others as well. Blessings to you on this Friday. Take it easy and just relax and get ready for worship on Sunday because I understand no snow coming, just cold temperatures. Blessings to you today.